figuring out this whole new screencasting and recording stuff on the Mac. So, all right. Absolute value equations and inequalities today. Chapter 1, if you hadn't figured out, is all about the basics of algebra. Solving equations, solving inequalities. Now we're going to talk about absolute values. Okay? All right? So those are the three basics of the chapter 1. Okay? What truly is the meaning of absolute value? We're going to talk absolute value in two different ways. We're going to talk about the true meaning and the application meaning. What is the true meaning? Anybody know what the true meaning of absolute value is?
Distance from 0 on the number line.
Bingo. Yep. Absolute value, the true definition of the absolute value is the distance a number is, oops, that's a bad N. Yeah? So the true meaning of absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on a number line. What is the applicable definition of absolute value? So for instance, let's try some, okay, while you're thinking, because it's, what do I mean by applicable value or applicable meaning? Absolute value of 7. 7. Absolute value of -2. 2. Absolute value of 13. 13. Absolute value of -27. 27. Absolute value of 58. 58. Absolute value of -63.4. 63.4. Huh? You see a pattern developing yet? What do you got, Sam? So you just basically make the number positive. Okay? So a distance a number is from 0 on the number line is the book's definition, the mathematical definition. Okay? The way that we use absolute value is we make numbers positive. Okay? So we make numbers positive. That's what an absolute value does. Okay? So let's evaluate some. What's the absolute value of 15? 15. What's the absolute value of -8? 8. What's the negative of the absolute value of -8? -8, okay? Because this part right in here, that part is 8, but then there's this negative sign yet, okay? So the negative of the absolute value of -8 is -8. Okay? Make sure there's nothing else on that page. Good. Okay? Solving absolute value equations. Okay? So, the first thing that you are going to do is you are going to make two equations. The first equation is going to be the inside of the absolute value. So the insides of the absolute value is going to equal the other side. Okay. So basically you're going to write the equation without the absolute value sign. Okay. Your second equation is going to be the inside is going to equal the negative of that other side. So you're going to negate the entire opposite side. Okay. So that's the first step. You're just making the two equations. Okay. Second step, now, you're going to solve both of them. And because we're solving equations in math, what should we do with when we get done solving those equations? What should we always do at the end of solving equations? Check your answers. And where am I going to check my answers? Am I going to check it in these new equations that I made over here? Or am I going to check it back in my absolute valued equation that I got from the original problem? Yep, I'm going to check it in the original problem. Okay, so that's where we're going to check it. Okay, let's try two of them. So, step number one said I'm going to make two equations. I'm going to take the guts, the inside of the absolute value, and I'm going to set that equal to the right side, the other side in this particular case. So I get x equals 4 as my first equation. My second equation is going to be the insides of my absolute value, the guts if you will, equaling the negative of the entire right side. So I get x equals negative 4. Okay. Do I have any solving that I have to do? No solving? Okay, no solving, already solved. So that just leaves me with checking. Absolute value of positive 4. 4. 4 equal to 4? Yep. Absolute value of negative 4. 4. 4 equal to 4? Yep. Okay. So that's done. Okay? So my answers here then are x equals 4 and x equals negative 4. Okay. Let's try the next one. Okay? First step is what? My first step. Okay, what are my two equations that I'm going to create? Anybody? That's my first one. What's my second one? Like it? Now what? solve them. Okay? You want to solve left one first or right one first? Left one? Okay. Walk me through solving the left one. Add 4 to both sides. That gives me 2x equals 12. Then, divide by 2 on both sides. That gives me x equals 6. Okay. Walk me through solving the other one. Add 4 to both sides. That gives me 2x equals -4. Then what? Divide both sides by 2. Gives me x equals -2. Right? Oops, missed. Oops, missed. Oops, there it is. Okay. So that gives me 2 answers. X equals -2 and x equals 6. What should I do with those 2 answers? Plug them in and check them. -2 times 2. -2 times 2. -4 minus 4. Absolute value of -8. 8. Is 8 equal to 8? Yes. 6 times 2. 12 minus 4. 8. Absolute value of 8. Is 8? 8 is equal to 8. Yepper. Okay. I would like you to now solve those 2. Okay, so first off, 2x plus 3 is going to equal 11. And 2x plus 3 is going to equal -11. Okay, then subtract 3. So that's going to give me 2x equals 8. Divide by 2. That's going to give me x equals 4. Subtract 3. That's going to give me 2x equals -14. Divide by 2. That's going to give me x equals -7 there. Okay? So if I check 4, 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 3 is 11. Absolute value of 11 is 11. That one checks out. If I check -7, 2 times -7 is -14. Plus 3 is -11. Absolute value of -11 is +11. So that checks out. So we have x equals -7 and x equals 4 as our answers. Yep. Okay. Then h minus 2 equals -4 and h minus 2 equals negative of -4. Okay. Which really then is +4. Bless you. Okay. So I can add 2 and that gives me h equals -2, add 2, and that gives me h equals 6. Yes? Those are my final answers? Why not? Oh, I thought you said no. You'd be scared there for a minute, Colin. Okay? Everybody got -2 and +6, and everybody circled it? Didn't circle it? Didn't circle it? What do you me it doesn't work? Uh-oh, so why did everybody circle it then? I thought we checked answers.
I don't do that.
Ruh-roh! Well, let's check this one. What's negative 2 minus 2? Negative 4, right? What's the absolute value of negative 4? 4. Is 4 equal to negative 4? No. So can negative 2 be an answer? No. It gone. Kick that bad boy out. So it's got to be 6 then, right? Plug it in. 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2. 4. Absolute value of 4. 4. Is 4 equal to negative 4? No. It gone. Ruh-roh. So now what? No solution. No. Colin, you had said something about we have to check these every single time? Hells yeah. Why? Well, let me go back to the steps to solving absolute value equations, Colin. Okay? What's step number 3? Check it, right? Okay? That's why it's on there. Because we are going to have these extraneous solutions out there. Extraneous solutions are answers that you get to a problem that don't work. Okay? Extraneous solutions are answers that don't make the original equation work. And we kick them out. We kick them to the curb. Okay? Let's try this one. This one looks a little bit different because now instead of it equaling a number, now it's going to equal some like variable type expression. Okay? We do it the exact same way. So my first step is I take the insides and I set it equal to the other side. So I just write it as is without the absolute value, just like we've been doing. Second equation, I take the insides and I negate the entire other side. Okay? The kicker is the entire, not just the first term, the entire, the whole thing. Because in a couple of seconds here, you're going to get one where there's a binomial on that side. So there's 2 terms. So you got to negate that whole entire side. Okay? All right? Now, we go through and we solve it as normal. And I get 5 and negative 1. Agree? Okay. Plug 5 back in. Okay. So 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 5 is 15. The absolute value of 15 is 15. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 is equal to 15. So that one works for me. Okay. Plug in negative 1. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. plus 5 is 3. Absolute value of 3 is 3. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 3 is not equal to negative 3, so that answer is extraneous and not part of my final solution because it doesn't make the original equation work out. So my answer here is only x equals 5. Okay. What I would like you to do now is I would like you to try those two equations. All right, so we got 4x plus 10 equals 6x, and 4x plus 10 equals negative 6x. Subtract 2x. Subtract 4x. That gives us 10 equals 2x and 10 equals negative 10x. Divide by 2. Divide by negative 10. 5 equals x. Negative 1 equals x. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 10 is 30. Absolute value of 30 is 30. 6 times 5 is 30. That one checks out. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Plus 10 is 6. Absolute value of 6 is 6. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. That one doesn't work out, so we are left just with x equaling 5 as our answer. Okay. 3x minus 2 equals 2x minus 3, and 3x minus 2 equals negative of 2x minus 3. Hold on, let me move that over. Okay. I'm going to add 2. At the same time, I am going to subtract 2x. So that gives me x here equals negative 1. I am going to first distribute 3x minus 2 equals negative 2x plus 3 there. So I'm going to be adding 2. At the same time, I am going to add 2x. So that gives me 5x equals 5. Then divide by 5 there, not by 1. Getting ahead of myself. And I get x equals 1. Agree with both of those answers. Do they work in the final solution? I'll give you 35 seconds to check them. Negative 1 work? Yes? 3 times negative 1 is? Negative 3 minus 2 is? Negative 5. The absolute value of negative 5 is? 5. 2 times negative 1 is? Negative 2 minus 3 is 5 equal to negative 5? Didn't think so. 50-50 shot. So that's got to be 1 then, right? Right? Yeah? Ooh, maybe when the teacher says check it, we should probably check it. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 2 is, absolute value of 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is, minus 3 is negative 1. Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh. That's a no solution case. Okay. So that is a no solutions case. Okay? So, now, let's go to absolute value inequalities. Okay? An absolute value inequality is done exactly the same way. Okay? Except the steps are tweaked a little bit. So, I set up like an equal sign. So I still do my 2 equations. Okay? So here, like in A, I would say x equals 4 and x equals negative 4. Okay? So I still do that. And I still solve those. Okay, so I set up my 2 equations and I solve those 2 things. Okay? Right? That sets where my numbers are for my number line. Okay? So I'm going to put those numbers on a number line. So I would put on this number line down here, I would put 4 and negative 4. Now, that's going to create some zones on my number line. If I have 2 numbers on my number line, I now have 3 zones. If I have 1 number on my number line, that now creates 2 zones. Okay? Right? If I have 4 numbers on my number line, that creates 5 zones. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I am going to test a number in each zone. Okay? It can be any number that you want. It doesn't have to be the same number as the person sitting next to you. Okay? I may pick negative 82. Okay? You may pick negative 5. Doesn't matter. It's all still in that zone. Okay? So in this zone, I'm going to pick negative 10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that number back into my original equation, or my original inequality. So the absolute value of negative 10 is 10. Is 10 less than 4? No, that's false. So this zone gives me a falsitude. Okay? Pick a number in the middle zone.
0.
0 is a good one to pick. Absolute value of 0. Absolute value of 0 is 0, right? Is 0 less than 4? That's a true statement. So we've got truthiness in the middle zone. Okay? Right right side zone, pick a number. Ping. 18. Absolute value of 18. Is 18 less than 4? No, that's false again. Okay? And my final answer oops, not as. There's an N in answer. Come on, Linsmeyer. You learned how to spell. Okay. My final answer is going to be anywhere that that's true. So in this particular case, my final answer here is going to be because this up here was just less than, I'm going to have open dots, and it's going to be in between them. Okay? I can't remember if the book has you then write the inequality, but the inequality here then would be -4 is less than x is less than 4. Let's try the second one here. X is greater, absolute value of x is greater than 2. So this would be x equals 2 and x equals -2. So I'm going to look at two spots or two numbers, -2 and +2. Left zone, pick a number. -6. Absolute value of -6. 6 is 6 bigger than 2. That's a true. Middle zone, pick a number. 0. Why are we picking 0, Jenna Kettner? Because it's the easiest one to do. Because all your variables go away. Okay? All right, so if you have the choice to pick 0, pick 0. Okay? Absolute value of 0 is 0. Is 0 bigger than 2? Nope, that's a falsitude. Right zone. 6. Somebody likes the number 6, which is just fine. Absolute value of 6 is 6. Is 6 bigger than 2? Heck yeah, it is. So shabam, there it is. So my answer here then is going to be from -2 and +2. Again, I've got open dots, but now I am rowing the boat. Okay. So this would be x is less than -2 or x is greater than +2. Okay. You try that one. So 2x plus 6 equals 6, and 2x plus 6 equals -6. Subtracting 6. That gives me 2x equals 0. And 2x equals -12. Dividing by 2. That gives me x equals 0 and x equals -6. Okay? So on my number line, then I've got -6 and I've got 0. Sorry, Jenna. Can't pick 0 this time. Okay? So, left of -6, I'm going to go with -7. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14, plus 6 is negative 8. Absolute valued is positive 8. 8 is greater than 6. That is a truthiness statement. In betwixt, I'm going to go with negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, plus 6 is 4. Absolute value of 4 is 4. 4 is not greater than or equal to 6. That is a falsitude. Over here, I'm going to go with, let's go with 10. 2 times 10 is 20, plus 6 is 26. Absolute value of 26 is 26. 26 is greater than or equal to 6. So we got a truthiness over there also. Okay, so then my final answer is going to be negative 6 and 0. I'm going to go with filled in dots this time because of the, oops, I went too far down, because of the greater than or equal to part right there. Okay? So filled in, and then we're rowing the boat still, RTB. Okay? So then that's going to be x is less than or equal to negative 6, or x is greater than or equal to 0. That's good stuff right there. Great stuff for not a lot of money. Festival foods. Oops. Oops, now where did my thing go? Tap the brakes. Come on, Linz. Whoa, 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 wrong one. There we go, that one. So there are your 2 homeworks. Both will be due on Monday. Okay? 1.7 deals with the stuff that we were just dealing with today. Chapter 1 review deals with all the stuff that we've been doing so far. Okay? So those 2, along with 1.5 and 1.6, will both be, or all 4 of them, will be due on Monday. Also the day of your test. Colin, Monday test.